Thank you, Moms for Liberty, for asking me to speak at your workshop. I haven't seen this many Proud Boys, three percenters, QAnon, and white Christian nationalists in one ballroom. Well, since CPAC. I'm surprised it is almost this full. Last week, I spoke to all of 1 million moms, and it was one angry prude with a laptop sitting at a collapsible card table. Now I want to congratulate the last speaker, Catherine Gorka. Catherine just showing up in public when everyone knows you've seen Sebastian Gorka naked takes bravery few could muster. And wow, that was a fiery anti-Muslim rant demanding we shut down mosques. But don't you think it also shows our hand just a little bit that when we invoke religious freedom, we only mean our religion? Am I right, ladies? Am I right? And that brings me to an important point. Please do not record any of my remarks today. As America's best Christian, trademark Lori, I must, as do all of you, scrupulously separate my carefully marketed public statements from my private motivations. None of us can risk exposing the lack of proximity between what we say we are doing and what we are really trying to accomplish. So, let's put those phones in our purses, ladies, lest candor cramp cash flow. And speaking of moms, you have made grand headway in convincing many Americans that your mission is to actually protect our precious children. Fortunately for us, few have noticed that the Protect Our Precious Children crowd are also the folks forcing those precious children to face assault rifle fire in their schools, die from complications from being forced to carry their father's babies to term, and work the midnight shift at an Arkansas meatpacking plant. Good one, Sarah. Of course, our motive was never really about protecting our children. Again, entre nous, gals. Because if that were really our motive, we'd never let them inside a car with a priest, much less a pup tent with a youth pastor, because the scores of people arrested every week for molesting our precious children are almost always found in churches, not drag bars, which is why it's important to keep saying the opposite, because it's far more marketable to say you want to ban LGBTQ shirts from Target to protect children than because you simply hate LGBTQ people.
Glory to God.
Thanks to all those kids out there for being a handy excuse to act on that hatred by saying t-shirts are recruiting children. Honey, if your kid is gay after seeing a Target t-shirt, your kid was gay before he walked into that store. Just saying. But using kids as props to promote politics and prejudice is nothing new. It has worked before and will work again. Back in the 1970s, former Miss Oklahoma, Anita Bryant, started her own Save Our Children political coalition to protect children from people she hated, homosexuals. Sounds familiar, ladies? She famously said homosexuals cannot reproduce, so they must recruit. And to refreshen their ranks, they must recruit the youth of America. I guess she didn't notice how heterosexual couples quite cheerfully produce millions of homosexuals every year. And without Target t-shirts or coloring books about adorable gender-fluid chimpanzees. And while Anita is a precursor to Ron DeSantis' current Don't Say Gay war on all things LGBTQ, she was hardly the beginning. 20 years before her, the Florida legislature had set up a commission to root out homosexuals in the state's school system, and this was hardly singular to Florida as so many unpleasant things seem to be. Well, Anita was working her Save Our Children campaign over in liberal California. Proposition 6 tried to ban gays and lesbians from teaching in that state's schools. It failed, in part thanks to then President Carter and soon-to-be President Reagan coming out against it. See how wicked bipartisanship is? But now that Christian nationalism is on the rise, glory, we can expect more Christian copycats to use children as an excuse to hate LGBTQ people and threaten anyone or company that doesn't play along. Target caved to your demands. Fortunately for you, unlike the United States, many corporations do negotiate with terrorists. Moms for Liberty, thanks to your efforts, American schools are making history convenient again. Our precious children are being taught that slavery was basically a guest worker program with generous free travel to America. Even Ron DeSantis said that the fabulous thing about slavery was the skills slaves learned could be used when they stopped being slaves. I didn't have the heart to tell him when the majority of slaves stopped being slaves was when they died. And moms, thanks to your tireless work, it is now policy in school districts throughout this country that the most closed-minded parent in the entire school has veto power over all of the books everyone else's children get to read. Such a brilliant idea. Well done, moms. Well done. Glory.